Have you set out on a journey, start a business? Maybe you are writing a book, putting pen to paper. You're writing a book, writing a journal. Maybe you started a business and then COVID-19 hit, threw you off. Maybe you were in school pursuing a degree, postgraduate, undergraduate. There's some type of endeavor that you set out on. You're following your passion. You're pursuing purpose. Maybe it's online content creation or live streaming. You're building a photography business, a consulting or coaching business. You have an idea and you're trying to bring it to life, and you're starting to get discouraged. You're starting to feel defeated. You're starting to lose the motivation and the inspiration. You're starting to lose sight of what it was that set you down that path to begin with, because of difficulties, because of hardship, because things just aren't going quite right. And it happens from time to time. It does. It happens from time to time. But I want to submit to you that the problem is not the endeavor is wrong or what you're doing is not right. I want to submit to you that it's our perspective. It's a matter of focus. And I recently got into videography and live streaming, and so that requires learning cameras, and that requires all of this broadcast equipment and things of that nature. And I remember a buddy of mine, Sean Woods, shout out to Sean Woods at Sean Woods Media. I remember him taking me out doing a field shoot one time. I need to record a video, and we're traveling around trying to find the right spot for the video, and we're driving. I'm assuming we're going to go and hit up some spots that are nice with a nice background, and everything is going to be nice for this video. But Sean is driving and he's passing all of these nice spots, and he ended up in this place where it was secluded, but like the scenery wasn't the best. And I'm like, man, is this where we're going to shoot this video at? Like, this is the spot we chose. So we get out of the car. We set me up with all of the stools and the mic, and I'm getting there and I'm looking around and I'm like, man, this is not the setup I was imagining. So, but he's the expert, so I trust him, right? So we start filming. I record my piece and I go over to look at it, and I look at his camera and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I can't see any of this background. I can't see the cars. I can't see the highway. It's just me, and I look crystal clear and I sound good and it just looks amazing. But when I look around at the setting, like, there was a whole bunch of stuff that I was anticipating that didn't look good that was going to be in our shot, but it wasn't. So now I'm all pumped up. I'm hyped up. I get into my own broadcast and my own multimedia stuff. So I go and I grab me a camera and I start going around recording and doing videos and trying to do what I seen Sean do with his camera. But it's not working out like that. Like, my background is like, I can see all the nasty stuff behind me, graffiti, highways, cars, building, people walking around, and everything is in my shot. And I'm trying to figure out, what am I doing wrong? I bought the same camera he had, but I wasn't able to replicate that look. And so he comes to town and he and I are talking. I grab my camera and I'm like, man, you got to look at my settings, because something's wrong with my settings. When I record my videos, I don't get that background that you get that's like nice and blurry, and it's just focused on me. And he grabs my camera. He says to me, he was like, oh, you got to fix your focus. Like, your aperture is off, I think is the actual technical word he used. But he said to me, you have to fix your focus. And that really hit me and resonated with me on many, many levels, not just from a video production standpoint, but from a life standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint almost. Because when he said to me, you got to fix your focus, I immediately began to think about all the endeavors and things that we set out on as we go through life and as we journey, and how sometimes we get discouraged because of what's going on around us that doesn't seem to be contributing to our passion and the fulfillment of whatever it is that we've now endeavored. We're looking at all the bad and the negativity around us, And the reality is we just need to fix our focus. Now, to drive this point home even further, continuing in our study and our example of Peter walking on the water, the disciples are out there in the boat and the storm hits and Jesus comes to them, and we talked about it before. He tells them as they're frantic and fearing for their lives, he said, be of good cheer, be of encourage. He encouraged their hearts. He immediately spoke to the context of their heart because they were afraid for their lives, and he encouraged their hearts. But then we know Peter gets out of the boat because he says, if it's you, Lord, let me come to you. So Peter gets out on the boat and he's walking on the water, and everybody, whether you're a Christian or not, knows this story. And so Peter is walking on the water. And then this text says, as he's walking on the water, headed toward Jesus, noticing the storm around him, he begins to sink. And so that implies that his eyes was fixed on something else, or in this case, someone else, before he began to actually notice the storm raging around him and the winds and the lightning and the rain and the waves that are probably crashing. His focus was on something else when he was walking on the water. But noticing the storm means he took his eyes off of whatever it was or whomever it was he was focused on. And that's when he began to sink. And so I submit to you, as you go on the journey of creating a business, you go on the journey of becoming a content creator or online streamer, you're building a YouTube channel because you're doing video games or you're delivering content, you're a coach, you're writing a book, you're going back to school, you have some type of idea, you have a vision, and you set out on that journey. When things start to go wrong, when you start to hit roadblocks, when you start to hit challenges because it's not as smooth as we thought it was going to be, that's not the time to give up. That's not the time to quit. That is the time to fix our focus. Focus on those things that why. Focus on the reason that we set out on that journey. Focus on the vision that we had to begin with, whether it was changing your economic situation, whether it was changing the livelihood of your family, whether it was bringing about change in your community, whether it was economic hardship that you were trying to get out of, or you were trying to build generational wealth to leave to your family or your kids, or a legacy, or that workplace, or maybe you're just trying to find independence and be able to own a company and to be able to employ others and help them have a better life. Whatever it was that started you out on that journey, when things start to get a little rough, you have to fix your focus and reorient yourself to that mission, to that passion, to that purpose that you were looking to feel. I had the same camera that Sean had, and he's getting these nice pictures. He's giving these nice images where the only thing you really see is his subject in the shot, not all of the buildings and the highways and the people and stuff around him. It was just me, and I was trying to do the same thing, and I couldn't. And he said to me, he grabbed my camera, and he said to me, he said, "Oh, bro, you just got to fix your focus." And that's my encouraging word to you this evening. You have to fix your focus. Because see, I believe when Peter started to sink, when he was walking on the water, and when we start to give up, when we start to actually fail, because failure is a mindset, not an outcome. When we actually start to fail at those things, it's because our eyes saw something, right? But our hearts also forgot something. So we see something with our eyes. We see the difficulty, we see the mountain, or we see the valley, or we see the relationships that are not there that we thought would support us, whatever it is. We see those things happening, but then our heart loses sight of something. And that's that very reason that we endeavored on this journey to begin with. And if it was out of selfish ambitions, if it was out of what somebody else told us to do, if it was out of fallacies, if it was out of things that we are not passionate about and we don't really feel like we're called to, we will give up when times get tough. We will fall short. We will not be able to keep going. We won't have that drive. But if our hearts are in the right place, if if we're trying to impact lives, again, whether it's our lives, our family lives, or the lives of others, then when the difficulty comes, if we can reorient ourselves and fix our focus, then we can continue to push on. We can continue to press on. So I just want to remind somebody, before you give up, before you get discouraged, before you waste the 23 credits you already got toward the degree, or all of the time and effort and equipment you've already bought into building the content creation platform that you're trying to establish, or the coaching platform, or whatever that endeavor is, fix your focus. Remind yourself why you started to begin with, and make sure that that why is solid. Make sure that that why is solid, because in doing that, fixing your focus, you will find the strength, the encouragement, the stamina, the way around the obstacle that you need. Because just because a challenge or an obstacle comes, that doesn't mean you're headed down the wrong path. That means there is something for you to learn, either about yourself or about the direction you're heading. But that doesn't mean the overall vision is a wash. That doesn't mean the overall promise or the purpose you're trying to fulfill is a wash. That just means the way you're going about it, there's something you need to learn about yourself, either the people you're connected with or the product or the platform that you're trying to establish. So if you fix your focus, you'll be able to find your way around that. It's not the camera. It was never the camera. When I was trying to get those same sharp images that Sean was getting, it wasn't the camera. I needed to know how to fix my focus. So I hope that helps. As always, be encouraged, stay focused, and keep pressing on, because your life is going to impact the lives of many, 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 many other people if you just don't give up. All right, folks, until next time, be safe.